Um, the WordPress plugin comes out of the box, and there's a few optimizations that are needed. It works really well, but it's not the most optimized system going around. So what we're going to do is run through a few solutions, a few problems, a few kind of results, and a bit of research, I guess, that backs up why you would want a high converting website, and a little bit of information about conversion rate optimization as well. So this is me. I run an agency here in Singapore for the past 12 years or so called Chilibin. I regularly speak at the WordPress meetups and other events around the region as well. So, right. So like I mentioned before, we're going to be talking about conversion rate optimization. We're going to talk about how to track customer behavior. We're going to work through a few examples of redesigned homepages and landing pages. We'll have a talk about search and why that's important. We'll have a look finally at some checkout optimization, and there's some tips and tricks that we'll share towards the end as well. Okay, so what is conversion rate optimization? Conversion rate optimization, or CRO, as you may have seen it before, is the process of convincing more people on your website to take action. So if you're talking about an e-commerce website, you're talking about more people buying your products. So therefore, there needs to be less distraction for them to complete this checkout. So your conversion is essentially a sale. So how do you get that sale as quickly as possible? So a few things. So we'll run through a little bit about discovery first. So understanding who your target audience is, and then choosing the right option for that. So people go through the discovery process first. They will then look at choosing, and then they'll look at purchasing in those 3 stages, right? So during these 3 stages, people like to do lots of things. They like to compare products, shop around for better prices, and take their time making their final decision. So if you're looking at your store, then we need to make sure that you're optimized to make that process as easy as possible. So if you want to boost your sales and generate more revenue, then optimizing your WooCommerce e-commerce store for high conversions helps the buying process move along a lot faster. Right, so what you want to do is make sure that you're set up to track your customer behavior basically on your existing website. So in order to do that, you need to enable your customer tracking to see how logged in site visitors are engaging with your store. If you don't have logged in users, then you can use something like Google Analytics to track to see how people are moving throughout your store. So logged in, logged out users doesn't really matter too much, but you need to be able to make sure that you can track those users and see how they're engaging with your store. So you can set up custom dimensions in Google Analytics to compare logged in user behavior versus guest user behavior. So if you do have a login store and you want to see how users are converting versus logged in, logged out, typically you would find that your logged in users would be converting quicker because their payment information would be stored in your website, their name, their address, all that information would be already stored. So when they come to the checkout, they don't have to, put all that information in again. So you find that they should be converting a little bit quicker. If you don't have a login section of your website, a lot of people now just go for a guest checkout. So it's not crucial, but if you do have that, and then it's worth comparing. So you want to find out what traffic sources generates the most revenue for your e-commerce store as well. So you might be spending, let's say, $1,000 on your Facebook ads, $2,000 on your Google ads. You might have some LinkedIn strategy. You might have some, some other outreach strategies. So you need to work out what traffic source generates the most revenue for your e-commerce store. So if you're talking about, what traffic source, if you've got, your $1,000 spend per month on Facebook, and you've got your $2,000 spend on Google ads, what is going to be converting higher for you? Is it worth spending the extra money on your Facebook spend, or is it worth spending the extra money on your Google ads or in turn your SEO, your content marketing. So we need to work out what your most profitable traffic source is and then optimize for those, and then look at growing your other traffic sources while your top traffic source will obviously make all that money for you to enable you to build and grow your store. So another way you could do that is by tracking abandonment rates. So you want to pinpoint why customers aren't completing your purchases. And abandonment basically means that someone will add something to their cart, they will go to the checkout process, and then for whatever reason, they won't complete that purchase. Now, there's a few things that you can do to follow up with those users. If they've put their email address in, there's a number of plugins and solutions that are out there in the market that allows you to email them and say, why haven't you completed this purchase? Possibly offer them discount coupon of 10, 20%, and then they can come back and make that sale. Because converting someone fresh, say off Google or off someone that hasn't been to your website before, is going to be a lot more expensive than converting someone who's already been to your site, has added the products to their cart and just hasn't completed checkout. So if you're giving them, let's say, a $10 discount coupon, the cost of that is going to be negligible compared to getting a new customer in through your store and then convincing them to, about all your products and things like that. So what we want to do to make sure that we can track all this information is to enable WooCommerce and Google Analytics conversion tracking to help you make more informed decisions. So there's a couple of ways that we can do this. I've got a couple of options in here as well. This is actually been renamed now, but it's basically Google Analytics dashboard for WordPress by Exact Metrics. I'm trying to remember the exact name of it now, but it got bought out by another company called Awesome Motive recently, and it's been rebranded, I think, again. But basically what it does is it connects to your Google Analytics and puts a little dashboard in the back end of your website. Now, you can do this with Google Sitekit as well as a plugin, but this specific plugin has a few different options around custom metrics, which can be good. So very basically, you can install this plugin from the repository. There's a link there down below. If you just search for Google Analytics dashboard, it should come up. So once you go in, you can do some plugin authorization. Nowadays, most of these will require some type of access code, which you can get quite easily. You essentially click that authorize button. It'll take you to Analytics. It'll ask you if you authorize this to go through, and then you can grab that access code and save that in there. Once that's done, you'll get that view down the bottom. So it says WR awful. So you'll be able to select which one of your Google properties to connect up, and then you can click the lock button and then it connects all your website from there. If you've done it to the wrong site for whatever reason, you can clear that authorization using that button at the top and then go forward and do it all over again. But this plugin will allow for event tracking, which is quite handy. So it allows you to track downloads, any of your links on email links. It allows you to add telephone or outbound links and track any affiliate links. So basically, if you do want to track, how many people are doing certain items throughout the site, yes, you can organize that through Google Analytics yourself, but this just gives you a very easy way to look at what events are taking priority, I guess. And if you have affiliate links, then if it's, use something like out as a URL and then, out, then it might be an Amazon link, for example, then you can track all those affiliate links as well. And then when you go into your analytics, you'll be able to go to your event tracking and see what events are creating, I guess, more traffic or more conversions. So in your actual analytics, Google Analytics, you go in here, you check your e-commerce settings, and there's an option there to enable the e-commerce setup. So you just flip that on to yes or on, and then you'll also have to turn on the enable enhanced e-commerce reporting. So if you then click back on view settings, you want to change your currency to probably Sing dollars or Malaysian ringgit or whatever you're selling your actual products in, US dollars, AUD, whatever it may be. And good idea to exclude any bots from any of that as well. So all this pretty easy to be set up within the plugin and then within Google Analytics as well. The second plugin that you want to look at installing is the official WooCommerce Google Analytics integration, and this will get you more options when it comes to your analytics into your actual products themselves. So it's just called WooCommerce Google Analytics integration. So if you have a look through that in the WordPress repository, there should be a couple of different options there. I think there are some third-party ones as well, but the one by WooCommerce works quite well. And then what you want to do here is look at these different options. So basically what we want to do here is see those kind of items down the bottom, right? So you want the enhanced link attribution. So that's one the good one to have. The universal analytics is good. You want to make sure that all your addresses are anonymized, but basically those bottom two items is what you're looking for in this plugin. You want to do your purchase transactions and your add to cart events. So if we were going back before and we were tracking different events like download events and affiliate events, what this does is it tracks how many add to cart events there are. So if someone clicks the add to cart button, an event will register in Google Analytics, and you'll know that, okay, on Tuesday, the 25th of October, we've had 200 people click the add to cart button. If you want to look a little bit further into that, you can say, okay, from those 200 people, 50 of them have come from Facebook, 150 have come from Google, and you can sort of go back that way and say, okay, out of those 150 cart events or 200 cart events, 20% of those, or 40 people may have made a purchase. Out of those 40 people, 30 of them might have come from Facebook. So you can do this all using analytics, but you need the information first sent from WooCommerce into Google Analytics, and you can do this with these couple of different options here. There's also these options a little bit further along. So the first option here is to add the purchase transactions and add to cart events under your tracking options. The second one will be under enhanced e-commerce. So if we go back here, enhanced e-commerce is something we turned on here under analytics, enable e-commerce, enable enhanced e-commerce reporting. And then once we go into our analytics plugin for WooCommerce, we can enable that in our enhanced commerce. And basically what we can do here is add product impressions from your listing pages or your category pages, product clicks, product detail views, and if they've gone to the checkout process. So these are all additional items that you can check through your Google Analytics once these are enabled. So this gives you a wealth of information to look and analyze and work out, where your traffic is coming from, how they're interacting with your website. And once you have this information, you can make a better informed decision about how to optimize your website. So an example of what this looks like, you can see here, this is a standard view of Google Analytics, and we're comparing revenue versus your e-commerce conversion rate. So your conversion rate will basically be someone taken to your thank you page after completion. It also connects up with your revenue, so you know how much an order is. In this instance, it's about $100 per order. So you've had 280 transactions, and that works out to about $28,000, right? But your conversion rate there is only 1.6%. So out of all of the visitors that you've had, only 1.6 of them have converted. So that's really important information to know, which you can get from your analytics once all that is converted. So on the left-hand side, you can see their conversions. You have some goals that you can set up as well through analytics, but we're looking at the e-commerce functions. So the overview, shopping behavior, your checkout behavior, that is all a good thing to be looking through. All right, let's look at some redesigned home pages and landing pages. I might have to jump into my browser here, but to show a couple of examples. But using a large bold imagery to grab your site visitors' attention and showcase what you have to offer. So it's important when people come to your website, they know who you are, what products you're showcasing, or what products you're selling. And the best way to showcase that to someone easily would be using large, good imagery that showcases your product. Always make sure that you have a custom logo or company name so visitors know where they are at all time. This is a pretty simple one, right? But yeah, make sure that you have your company information as visible as possible. It's important to have a logo, but your logo shouldn't be the most important part of the website. People are coming here to look at basically buying products. Your company is important, yes, because it lends authenticity to it, but it's not the only thing that people are looking for. So yes, it needs to be there, but it doesn't have to be the most important thing on the page. A good idea as well in design is to use contrasting colors on your call to action buttons so that they stand out and visitors can see them. So if you've got a white background, you don't want to be using a gray button. There's a bit of research done around colors as well. So using something like a green color to give like a yes, or continue, or add to cart is a good idea. But make sure that it also fits within your brand colors, rather than just putting a green button in there and hoping that people know what to do. You also want to make sure that it's really easy for people to know what to do when they get to your site. So people have done different options where add to cart, they might change to something else. Stick with the standards that people recognize, and that will help increase your conversions as well. Social proof as well is important to lend credibility to your brand and know what you're selling. I'm sure you've seen it all before. If you're on booking.com, you're looking at a hotel room and it says that, okay, there's 10 deluxe suites that are available and 15 people are looking at the site. So that's social proof. It's also a little bit of FOMO, but all that is kind of important to showcase that lots of people on your site, lots of people are interested in your product. So therefore, the quicker that someone can check out, the better that is. Social proof in terms of testimonials, customer reviews, person has purchased this bottle of wine in the last 3 hours. All those are good little ideas that you can have across your site as well. So the more, I guess, human element that you can put into the site to lend credibility, the better as well. All right, I might need to just kind of jump in and show a couple of examples here. So let me just need to jump out of that and into my browser. Change my browser here. Okay, a couple of examples here for you. So this is Bliss World. Sorry, brought up the wrong window. Okay, so this is Bliss World. Basically, this e-commerce website is challenging their sort of fun energy through their website design. So you can see it's nice pastel colors. It fits in with the actual product colors that they have. Bright colors. It gives off a very sort of cheerful feeling as you go throughout the site. A great job with photography as well. They've obviously spent a bit of time and money doing a good photo shoot here of their products. All their products are isolated. They're all pretty much relatively the same size with a little shadow to them as well, so that when you're looking through the site, everything looks uniform. It looks like it's part of one site. So that's a good idea as well. So big photos on the homepage sets the feeling how the rest of the website is going to go as well. Right, so there's that one. Another example is Bohemian Traders. Let me just load this up for you. If you're looking for a clothing website inspiration, this is a really good idea. You've probably seen a lot of these kind of similar examples. One thing I wouldn't do straight away is that I've come to the site here. I don't really know what they're about necessarily, and I'm already getting a pop-up. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't, but just if you're going to do something like this, make sure you're testing it. Because a lot of people will see this and be like, okay, well, what's the benefit for me here? I just want to have a look at their products. Yeah, so it's got a bit of a bohemian style there. They've used a few yoga type elements. Their fonts and things like that are quite there as well. They've done a lot of lifestyle photo shoots of their products in a lot of different spaces. Visitors can navigate easily based on latest arrivals, which is what's new. Basically, if you're looking for, their most popular items here, which are obviously dresses and women's clothing as well. So their most popular items are across here. And then obviously they have some different currencies, a lot of standard stuff here as well to be looking through. But a nice easy image. They haven't focused on 10 different products that are sliding throughout the website, just one core product that they're focusing on. Then when they go into the actual website, there's 2 views of the product, so they don't necessarily have to click on it to see the dress. Yes, you might want to see what the back of the dress looks like in here, which is a little bit further, but once you get here, you can see a quick view of what the product looks like. And they've obviously taken a little bit of time to do some different photo shoots with that as well. But it does give you everything that you need to know about those products. Mojave focuses on showing off their high quality products straight away. So as you come into the site, you can pretty much see that it's footwear. So it's a really nice website design as well. As soon as you're on the homepage of this, you're greeted with a one-line description of how comfortable their products are usually. They've got an autumn range at the moment replacing that. And yeah, it just shows off, really good details about the products as well. So yes, they have had photo shoots done. It could be anyone wearing those shoes, right? It's just focused on the actual shoes themselves. Groove Made, they sell basically desk software and other bits and pieces here as well. So they heavily rely on lifestyle shots of their products as well. So they've got beautiful products and beautiful photos of their wooden accessories on their desks and tables and things. Composition of those are great. They have a nice little font as well, which works out. So lots of different photo shoots for all their products as well. The font here is not something you typically would see, but it's a little bit of fun. They've mixed, a classic font here with something here. It's a little bit more fun. And one more example here is Sea Folly, who they're an Australian-based website that sells swimwear. So as you come into the site, this is their latest, collection at the moment. There's one option here to shop now, and it'll take you into that collection. You can shop by different categories as well. So their most popular categories will be across here. So when people come to the site, it's really simple to work out what to do next. You're either looking at the latest range, or we're going to some type of mega menu here. Nice work of bold, simple text, not a lot of copywriting at all about the products, nice and simple, showcasing their products. They've got some social media reviews here as well. I think it's powered by a third-party plugin there. And then they've got a bit of copywriting in here, right, which is always important to have for an SEO point of view. And then you can obviously sign in to their option there. All right, let's jump back into here. Okay, let's make your website searchable. So we've gone through a few examples of what you can do for your homepage, but you also need to make sure that it's easy for people to navigate and look around your website. So 30% of site visitors use an internal search. Now that may be just a keyword search, that could be filtering, but you need to make sure that it's there so people can use it when they land on the e-commerce website. People that are performing searches are a little bit more likely, or twice as likely, to convert. And that's based because they're further down that sort of buying cycle. They kind of know what they want already, and they're just trying to work out if you have it or not. So make search available within your product pages as well. And if you can, enable autocomplete and autocorrect to make suggestions and account for user spelling mistakes. So it could be, a US-based product which is using a Z instead of an S, or it could be, difficult words that people are struggling to type in. So if we're using autocomplete and autocorrect, we can make those suggestions. And if you're popping up different answers for them, then people can get additional selections for those as well. You also want to make sure that you've configured your search console so people can see, so you can see basically through Google Search Console what people are looking for through search, and it'll help you create better content to write your blog posts about. So using Google Search Console, you connect it up to your website and it'll tell you you've had 200 visitors today from Singapore, and the most popular term was furniture, for example. You might have had 20 visitors from another term, how do I change my couch cover, for example. And that might be something that, you're selling couch covers for a certain brand, let's say an IKEA couch or something. You might want to create blog content around that. So when people are coming to your website, they're not necessarily going to your product page. You might write 1,000 words with a bunch of photos and videos, which help people choose the right couch cover, or choose the right make and the right model for their couch or something like that. So it'll inform you and your decision around creating content, because that people are coming to your website through certain terms. So SEO is obviously a larger topic here, as well as any content marketing that we have. But yeah, it's good to connect up the website, work out what keyword searches people are coming through to get to your website. And also you can look at following design patterns. Now, using an e-commerce website, you don't need to really, reinvent the wheel here. There are a lot of successful websites that are available, and you don't need to necessarily copy them directly, but you can get inspired and sort of, I guess, borrow some of the experience that people have had across other websites, right? So you need to make sure that your website is not unfamiliar when people get to it. So having things like your logo on the left-hand side, your menu in the middle, a search or sign in on the right-hand side, those are all pretty standard. So Reebok is an example that they kind of get that right. And let me just jump into that here and we can have another quick look. I mean, most of these sites are all pretty similar, but if we want to have a look at Reebok, you can look here. So there's their logo on the left-hand side. So obviously Reebok is a well-known name, so they don't need to write Reebok up here, but you probably would do for your store. There's a few mega menus here showing all their sorts of products, but it's very standard. So logo on the left, menu somewhere in the middle, either left or middle aligned. We have a search which is available here, so t-shirt, and they're going to bring me an autocomplete here. So I've got some suggestions, men's, women's t-shirts. I've got some branded ones here, so UFC, a ladies t-shirt. So there's a few different options here. These are suggestions, and then there's straight to some products as well. So this is easy to use, or you can just click this, see all, and that's a keyword search for the word t-shirt. This is your user login or profile. This is if you have a wish list, and this is your cart, which is a little pop-up. So if I add something to my cart, it's always going to be available here. We then have some very basic pages here. So your blog, if you want to read more, your help menu, which people use a lot, your exchanges and returns if something's the wrong size. You're going to know that for your products if people are searching for that information. Order tracking, super important to have if you've integrated with Ninja Van or something like that. Newsletter sign up, yep, important. And then they have a few other branded areas. But yeah, it's pretty consistent when you look across a lot of websites, and their footer is going to kind of replicate a lot of the stuff on the top as well. You then have your terms and conditions and privacy policy all down the bottom. And if you do have multiple stores, you can click through these and get to different stores there. So like nothing crazy, but just stick to the standards that are already there. All right, just jump back in here. All right, checkout optimization. So studies have shown that the difference between a great checkout experience and an awful or average one can be huge. So cart abandonment can range from around 60 to 80%. And there's a link to the study there from Baymard, which explains that and further. So that's a pretty large number. So you want to make sure it's as easy as possible once someone's added something to their cart to complete that purchase. So a few ways to do that. One is to reduce the number of fields on your checkout page. Now, WooCommerce itself comes with a lot of additional fields that we don't always need. It asks for company name, it does ask for phone number, and it asks for a couple of other things as well, which aren't necessarily needed. It asks for a billing address as well as a shipping address and an order note. Now, there's a lot of those fields you don't always need. You're going to know based on your store, but you want to have the minimum amount of fields as possible on your checkout page. Make sure you display all costs, no hidden surprises. So that really is going to come down to your shipping costs, most probably. So if someone adds something to their cart, gets to their final checkout page, and let's say the product is $35, but the shipping fee for some reason is $50, and they're not going to find out that until they put in a lot of details, then that's going to cause abandonment. We mentioned very early on in this talk about account versus guest checkout. Now, if someone has a guest, if someone has an account, they're more likely to check out with that information. So work out whether or not it's worth you keeping that personal information through a sign-in, or if it's going to be a hindrance to people getting out and checking through your process. And then you want to remove as many distractions as you can in checkout. I'm sure people have bought things on Amazon before. If you go to the Amazon checkout page, you pretty much have two options. I can't remember if the Amazon logo takes you back to the start or not anymore, but basically it's a big yellow button that says, complete purchase. And if you do have all your information stored, that one-click checkout is basically super simple. It has all your information stored. You just click one button and you're done, and it takes you to a thank you page. There's no other distractions or anything else to do on that page. So that's what you should be sort of aiming for, is giving people one choice at that checkout page. You don't need to include things like all your navigation, all your footer, all that information just needs to get removed. Yes, you need to have some type of branding across the site, but essentially it needs to be distraction free as much as possible once we get to the checkout. There's a couple of options that allow you to do that. There's a free plugin called WooCommerce Checkout Field Editor. So there's a couple of different ones there. One's free in the repository, and then there's a pro version of that as well. The free version should be fine for most people, but what it does is once it's installed, it allows you to go through these fields and say, okay, what ones do I need? What ones do I not need? And then allows you to actually rename some of the labels as well. So if we're talking about Singapore, for example, we definitely don't need a state. We don't need a town/city. And probably in billing address 1, billing address 2, I may rename those a little bit. So if I'm asking for a block, I can put that in there. If I'm just shipping to Singapore, then I don't need to know your country. I do not need to know your company name. I will change the zip postcode to probably just say postcode. So all that can be done very easily in here, and that's your billing fields. Now, your billing fields may be the same as your shipping fields as well. So you can disable your shipping fields if you're just shipping to the same person. If you have like hampers or gift boxes or anything like that, you will want two options there. You want basically people to put in your billing information, say I'm buying something for my mother in New Zealand, and I will put her details in the shipping field, but my details in the billing field. So you'll know that based on, the actual products that you're selling. But if you can get away with just having the billing fields there, and you may want to rename it from billing fields to something else, but yeah, as little amount of fields as possible in there. So that'll allow you to do the shipping fields. You can pretty much do the same there. And then additional fields under those options allow you to disable the order note. And you can also add some fields as well. So if you need NRIC numbers or anything like that for your products, you can add the fields in there. There are some restrictions, I believe, on the free plugin in terms of what data types or what field types you can have, but it should get you there most of the way as well. Pretty simple. So you can either enable, disable, or remove the fields. I'd probably just disable them in case you need to re-add them later on. All right, let's go through a few tips and tricks. How much time do we have? All right, cool. All right. Once we go into your website, you want to make sure that people can get in contact with you or as much as possible, or if you have suggestions that you can take from people, you can actually install this plugin called WooCommerce Question and Answers, and it allows your customers to ask you questions on a product. You've probably seen this on, Lazada or any Amazon site, that it's like does this product work with my PlayStation 5, for example? And then two people would write yes or no. That can also help you when you're looking at it helps obviously with social proof. It's user-generated content. It can help with a high conversion rate because people are, as long as it's obviously positive, but people can kind of see that it's been interacted with. It can also help you with your writing blog content. If you're getting a lot of questions around the same things, how do I use this extension with my vacuum cleaner? Cool, I'll go and write a 1,000-word article with a few photos in there so that when people come to my site, I can direct them to that page, which gives a lot more information, and I don't need to be putting all that content on my product page. So a couple of different options there, free and a pro version. Check that out. It's a good option to add into the site. This is basically what it looks like. So these are the questions that you get in the back end. Is it free? Then you just reply to those. Yes, it's free. Do I have to purchase an upgrade? Yep. So you just reply to those like you would to any comment throughout the site. And this is kind of what it looks like as well. This is obviously not a very designed site, but questions and answers of the customers. Do I have to purchase an upgrade? And then the admin is answered, it's free for subscribers. So anybody can then ask their own question down below, and I believe they need to be moderated first before they appear on your site. Another plugin, and I know the developers of this plugin quite well. They just released a new version of it. It's basically a social proof FOMO plugin called Notification X. And how it works is that you've probably seen across different sites, like I was mentioned before, John has purchased this bottle of wine in the last 3 hours. They pop up typically in the bottom left-hand corner, right-hand corner of your website. it just makes it seem like it's actually being used, it's being relevant, and it can lead to a higher conversion rate as well, because people can see, oh, they have this product, oh, this product's super popular. It can help there. So I think this is a little video. So just an example there. So Emily has purchased that. Someone from Berlin purchased that as well. And John just purchased that one as well. So a few different options there in terms of your sales notifications for WooCommerce. All connects up with WooCommerce, not a problem. So good one to have a look at that one as well. Another one is customer reviews. Now, one of the hardest things to get when you have an e-commerce site is some feedback from your customers. So this makes it quite easy. It's a free plugin available on the repository. After you've shipped the product, you can customize when to send out an email asking for a review with follow-ups. And what happens is that they can do it pretty much all within the email. So it supports multiple products as well. Most of the other solutions, or the WooCommerce one itself, will basically send them 6 emails and ask them to go to the website 6 times to do different reviews, which is obviously nobody's going to do that. So it supports that really easily. You can send it out, let's say 7 days after your product has been shipped, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever you decide it to be. And it does follow-ups as well. So if somebody hasn't submitted a review, you can do a follow-up with that, and you can actually do a thank you message if someone submits a review with a coupon code as well. And it includes voting on reviews. Was this review helpful? So this is what an email looks like sent through. So, hi Jane, thanks for shopping with us. We'd love it if you could, send a review through, blah, blah, blah. Pretty simple marketing message. And this is where they get taken to. So they get basically taken to a list of all the products that they bought, and it gives them a very simple comment on those products, can give them a rating scale. They can upload any photos or videos if they want to as well. So really simple plugin to help with your conversion rate there. This one is called no shipping message. So a no shipping message basically means if you're at the checkout and you're only selling your products to, let's say, 5 countries at the moment, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, a couple of others, and somebody's come from Japan and they want to, purchase your product in Japan, typically WooCommerce would just say there's no shipping and there's no other option for that, right? We don't ship to that region, and then you've lost that conversion. What this does is it just offers them a custom shipping message to say, okay, well, we're not shipping to Japan at the moment, but if you click on this link, you can contact us and we'll give you a custom shipping rate, or, you might be able to give them a coupon code which allows for free shipping or something like that in order to make that purchase happen. Or, you might have a $10 product that you add in there that the person adds to their cart. Once they add it in, you can manually ship it across to them. Just an easier way of making sure that people always have an option. And I think that's really important, that people always need some type of option or reassurance that you're going to look after them. And this is just an easy way. Instead of saying no, you give them an option to, to complete that purchase. And while it may be a little bit more work for you to organize it manually, it keeps the customer happy. So typically before, it basically says there are no shipping methods available, double check your address or contact us if you need any help. This basically allows a very simple way to say, please contact us for a quote, and that contact us can be linked. So pretty simple plugin. It doesn't do anything extraordinary, but can help with your conversions as well. And finally, we had the guys from Cartamize speak just recently at one of our meetups. And if you're looking at like a one-stop solution to pretty much do everything that I've discussed during this talk today, then this is a really good option for you. It offers a linear checkout, which is basically a faster, smoother checkout process. It does a lot of the optimizations that we talked about in terms of organizing and optimizing your checkout in one plugin. There's a free and a paid version, but the free version goes a long way to get that. We talked about optional fields before, like your company name and things like that. Address to might be optional, right? Instead of having 10 fields looking as empty, what we can do is hide those behind a link. They click the link and then those fields appear. It just doesn't seem as overwhelming for the visitor once they come to that checkout. If they've got 10 fields to fill in, then it just makes it a bit easier. It works a little bit better with your browser optimized autofill. So in Safari or Chrome, you may have your information, your address information auto-filled. So it will help with that autofill as well. And we didn't mention before, but one of the reasons that people can opt out of your checkout is that at the very top of your WooCommerce page, you'll get your checkout page, you'll get your coupon code, but at the start, and people sometimes will get to your card and, coupon code. They'll go to Google and say, John's Furniture Store coupon code, and then they might not find a coupon code and close their browser. So coupon codes, yes, it's good to have, but they don't need to be the first bit of information that somebody sees once they go to the checkout page. And one thing it does as well is does a distraction-free enclosed checkout. Now, I've got a very basic video for you here. As you can see, we've got those nice address labels there. It's got inline validation as well. So it fills in all that information really simply. It will do different tabs. So you've done your billing method, you've now done your shipping method, and you haven't had to go anywhere. You've basically stepped through the process really easily. You're now done to your billing address. You can add your discount code. Like I said before, it's all kind of hidden, but still being available, right? And then there's your option. You've done through all those options, or your content, sorry. You can, update your order at any time as well on the right-hand side. So it compresses that whole WooCommerce checkout experience into something that's really simple, even on your checkout page, thank you page as well. So that video probably ran through a little bit quickly. I don't know if I can, I don't think I can actually pause it. No, I can't. But check out cartomize.com. But as you can see there, the company name is optional, that field there just below. The address to is going to be optional as well. So if you want to click on that, it will come out. But yeah, it just streamlines the whole process and makes it really simple. It makes it a little bit like the Shopify experience, to be honest, which is a far nicer checkout experience than the WooCommerce one. But WooCommerce obviously has other positives with it. Is there? So it offers you everything that the WooCommerce checkout does, just in a much nicer version. So that one is all cool. Oh yeah, here we go. We do have a pause. Let me just run back here and see what I can highlight, because it went through kind of quickly. So nice to have an address label in here. So that information is in here. You can see that that is mandatory because it's a nice red tick in here. That's all fine. It's validated. Once I've moved on into this section, it's actually validated that address for me. So I know that that is a valid one. With the normal WooCommerce one, if I click OK, it then takes me back to the start of the checkout, and is a bit of a pain. Full name, obviously, as well. It'll validate that. If I want to add a company name, there's an option for that in here. I don't know if you can see that in there. If I want to put my address in, I can. Here's the second line address as well. It's telling me that this is required. So that's all nice and simple. And then I continue to my shipping method. So I've put in my billing information. This is billing and shipping actually at the same time. Continue to my shipping method. I can do a couple of options there for shipping, a couple of options for payment. So what these guys have done is gone through a lot of research. There's a lot of research papers around this. So they've basically put all the research papers into these. So there's a reason that these payment methods are down on the left-hand side here. It's basically backed by research. And then if we go down here, it's automatically selected. My billing address is the same as my shipping or delivery address, or I can enter a new one if I want. And then finally, discount code. Yes, it's there. It's optional. If I click on it, then it gives me the option to do that. Coupon code goes in, validates, and then I can, go through and complete that order. So hopefully that one helps. And then finally, obviously, WooCommerce itself has a lot of features out of the box. It's a free plugin on the WordPress repository. It offers things like upsells, cross-sells. You can do external products through affiliate marketing. You can do customized emails. You can sell subscriptions. You can sell bookings. You can sell all sorts of things in terms of extending WooCommerce. So it's obviously a great product in itself that you can do a lot with just out of the box. So I do have a very small bonus here to help you improve some conversions, some things to look at. One, you can look at a live chat functionality, but make sure that it's staffed by someone, or you've developed a really nice bot that will do everything for you. Look at exit intent pop-ups. What that means is that if you move your mouse to the top of the screen and you're about to leave, it might say, wait a minute, here's a 10% discount code or something like that. If you pop your email address in, you're probably going to lose that person anyway, so there's no harm in doing that. Lots of plugins that you can use to do that. Look at urgency and scarcity, like I mentioned earlier on about the booking.com example, where you'll have 50 people looking at the website right now. Oh, I'm going to miss out on this good rate on this hotel room. Obviously, look into your website design and make sure that that's working. From a product point of view, niche down as much as possible. You don't want to be competing across all your levels with Amazon and other big players like that. If you have niche products, then you're probably going to get a higher conversion rate because you may be one of the only people that they can get those products from. Obviously, look into your customer testimonials, and where possible, just give free shipping. Now, you can do this by just increasing the price of your products a little bit to include free shipping. People will see that as a massive value add. If it's saving them $5, but you're increasing the cost of the product for $5, then have a look at that. Or you might just want to do like $1 or a flat rate, $2 shipping around the world. The free shipping can be a great one to use to increase conversions. You can also look at making sure that you have awesome photos across your site. Make sure that you have FAQs, either a standard page or FAQs under your products. Definitely make sure that you have your business address and contact information somewhere in the footer or on the contact page to show that you are a real company. Show branded content where possible. Make sure the website is as fast as possible to load, and Google is actually taking website speed into its ranking factors now. Make sure you're using a credible payment gateway, Stripe, Braintree, PayPal, a couple of good options there. And then make sure you can use social proof as well. Here's an example of Stripe. So this was an announcement a while ago. Stripe is coming to, it launched out of beta a while ago, so you can just ignore that. But couple of other options here. You can add your phone number into your header so people can get in contact with you easily. If you don't want to give your mobile phone number, you can get a virtual number pretty easily, connect that up to some software on your phone. You probably can't see my phone because it's blacked out, but you can connect that up to a software VoIP number on your phone, and they can get in contact with you there very easily. Show standard shipping costs on every page as much as you can. People, you don't want to get all the way to the checkout process and then find out that shipping is exorbitantly expensive. If you can do shipping for free, then I highly encourage that, or at least do a thorough test on it. And make sure the estimated delivery date and time is as visible as possible and make it as quickly as you can. This can be tough when you're dealing with third-party vendors, but you can use something like ShipStation or Starship to integrate with payment providers, shipping providers such as DHL, if you're using Ninja Van. So WooCommerce will essentially say, okay, this weight of this product is 4 kilos. 4 kilos is going to be delivered in 3 days, and it will give you that option to spit it out onto the site. If not, if you know your estimated deliveries, then just give that as information to the client. People are probably not going to order something that comes in 3 weeks if they can get it in a week or a few days somewhere cheaper. So somewhere quicker. Make key information accessible in your footer as well. So your privacy policy, your terms and conditions, your returns, your delivery policies, all that, make sure that that's available. Incentivize your visitors to join your email newsletter for whatever reason. Most people have one nowadays. Why should they join yours? What is the benefit to them to join your email newsletter? Yeah, and that's it. That's a little bit about me. So there was a lot to kind of run through there, and I feel like I've talked everyone's ear off for a while now. So yeah, if there are any questions.
Yes, there are 3 questions, and the first question is from Hui Hyung. He's asking that how about new GA4 e-commerce setting and tracking on conversion?
Yeah, I haven't actually dug into GA4, so I'm not 100% sure on that. Sorry about that, but yeah, I imagine it's very similar for GA4, but sorry, I haven't dug into that. I'd have to do a little bit more research on it for GA4. Sorry about that.
Okay, so the next question is from Clarence. He's asking that if customer place order on website, does WooCommerce charge any transaction fees?
No, they don't. So your transaction fee is based on your payment provider. So if we're talking about in Singapore and we're talking about Stripe or PayPal, so PayPal take 3.9% plus I think 50 cents per transaction. Stripe take 3.4% plus 50 cents. WooCommerce takes nothing. WooCommerce is essentially transparent. It's free to install. The only thing you're really paying for is your hosting and any development costs that you need. So your payment gateway will be taking a percentage of anything there. So you need to work out what that is. Stripe will offer discounted rates the more transactions you put through. So let's say you put through $10,000, your rates are going to come down. I think they can come down to about 2.4, depending on how much you put through. And they also transfer directly into your bank account, I think every day or every 3 days, once you've been authorized as well.
All right. So the last question is also from Clarence. He'd like to know how many types of products does WooCommerce support?
Yeah, you could have hundreds of thousands of products on your WooCommerce website. It's not a problem. It would be more dependent on your hosting. So a shared plan with hosting, while the database would support it. If you had, let's say you had 10,000 t-shirts. Out of those 10,000 t-shirts, you might have 6 variations. So extra small, large, all the different sizes, and you might have 10 colors of those. That's obviously a lot of data. You'd probably be looking at, over 100,000 different data types in there. So on a shared platform, yes, it's possible to do it. It'll probably take a little bit more processing power, so it might be a little bit slow. But yeah, in terms of WooCommerce, there's no fixed limit on the amount of products.
Okay, and one more question is coming in from Lisco. The video showing the checkout part with the shipping address coupon code, can I know if there is a plugin for that design flow or it is a customized checkout flow?
Yeah, sure. It's a free plugin called Cartimize. I'll just type that in cartimize.com. So it's called cartimize.com. So yeah, that's a free plugin developed by, I think, a team in India. So recently released, and a lot of information has been done around that as well. If you're interested more, maybe you can get in contact with me later or check out the WordPress meetup group on Facebook, because we had a talk from the product owner a couple of months ago, and he runs through all the reasons behind why that is important. It's all basically based on e-commerce research about conversion optimization. But yeah, check out cartamize.com. There's free and a paid version.
Okay, so there's no more questions coming in. And Sha'an, thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us today. So thank you so much, and hope to see you again. And I know you are rushing time, right?
Yeah, I've got to collect my daughter from school now.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no
So,
problem. Hopefully that was enough information for everyone.
yeah, very good. It's good.
Okay, cool. Well, let me know
Okay.
if I can share those slides if you want as well. I can follow up and you can send them out to the attendees if you want as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so
Cool.
much.
No problem. All right. Thanks very much.
Okay.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.